Violent thunderstorms struck Paris and large parts of France late Wednesday, leaving widespread damage, disrupting transportation, and causing 2 fatalities. In the French capital, the storm hit around 9 p.m. local time, 19 o'clock GMT, bringing torrential rain and fierce winds that reached speeds of up to 112 kilometers per hour. According to Le Parisien, the downpour was so intense it reduced visibility to less than 50 meters, and emergency services were quickly deployed as streets flooded and trees fell across the city. Paris firefighters responded to hundreds of incidents, including roughly 50 uprooted trees blocking major roads and boulevards. Several metro stations were forced to close due to flooding or falling debris. Water leaks were also reported inside the National Assembly, where a debate on the Middle East was temporarily suspended. Meanwhile, a 12-year-old boy died in Piquecos, Tarn-et-Garonne, after a tree fell into a stream he was near with his family. In Mayenne, a man riding a quad bike was killed when a tree collapsed on a road. Civil security later confirmed that a total of 17 people were injured, including one in critical condition, the French broadcaster BFM TV reported. Wind gusts exceeded 130 kilometers per hour in several regions, with Montpellier recording 135 kilometers per hour, 84 m/h, and Bessy, Côte d'Or, 134 kilometers per hour, breaking historical records. Authorities describe the weather as a rare derecho phenomenon, with a powerful, long-lasting windstorm stretching nearly 700 kilometers, 435 miles. Train services were disrupted nationwide. Routes between Paris-Clermont, Bourges-Vierzon, and Toulouse-Brive were either suspended or delayed, SNCF said. Approximately 110,000 homes were left without electricity overnight. By Thursday morning, 100,000 households remained affected. In Normandy, the storm gutted a church in Valais, causing the bell tower to collapse. The city of Paris announced that parks and gardens would remain closed on Thursday morning for safety checks. Meanwhile, French National Education Minister Elisabeth Borne assured that students unable to attend national exams due to the storms would be allowed to retake them. Large hailstones were reported in Périgord and Montaigu, Météo France said. Paris-Orly Airport reported several flight delays due to the severe weather, with Charles de Gaulle Airport clocking a gust of 53 miles per hour as the storms blew through. The storms came amid a blistering heat wave in the heart of France. The high temperature at Paris-Orly was 99 degrees before rapidly cooling off during the thunderstorms. Meteor France said severe thunderstorms remained possible later into the night with up to 1 to 2 inches of rain in 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 2 inch hailstones, wind gusts of 70 to 75 miles per hour, and frequent lightning. The storm toppled trees, flooded Paris streets, and caused the French Parliament's roof to spring a leak as Prime Minister François Bayrou was speaking in a debate on the Middle East. The weather front followed a sweltering heat wave with temperatures passing 35 degrees Celsius. It brought gusts of wind exceeding 100 kilometers per hour that damaged property. Trees blocking roads, damage to infrastructure and homes, flooding and power cuts have been reported, they added. More extreme heat is expected this weekend and into early next week. The downpour late on Wednesday injured 17 others, one seriously. In Paris, the sky turned an eerie yellow as lightning flashed above the Sacré-Cœur Basilica and fierce winds sent people rushing for cover. Rain leaked through the roof of the lower house of Parliament, forcing legislators to suspend talks on conflict in the Middle East. It was also pointed out by Mr. Bayrou looking up at the National Assembly's leaking domed ceiling after delivering a speech. "Have you noticed that it was raining?" he said. The Assembly Vice President, Roland Lescure, suspended the debate so fire officers could check out the problem. When he restarted the session about 15 minutes later, Mr. Lescure those in attendance that absorbent mats had been used to patch up the leak. The downpour flooded streets, stranded vehicles, and forced pedestrians to flee for shelter as flash floods overwhelmed parts of the capital. The National Assembly was also affected, with water leaking through the ceiling mid-session, prompting firefighters to investigate and ministers to suspend a debate on the Middle East crisis. Emergency services responded to dozens of incidents across the city, including more than 40 reports of fallen trees. No injuries were reported in Paris, but authorities remained on high alert. The French weather service Météo France confirmed that over 39,000 lightning strikes were recorded across France and Belgium during the storm. The Paris Fire Department confirmed that there were no injuries, but at least 230 storm-related operations in the Île-de-France region. The damage was still visible when we woke up this Thursday morning, but the violent storm that erupted in the west of the capital and in Hauts-de-Seine this Wednesday evening caused no injuries, not even minor ones, according to the latest report from the Paris Fire Brigade on ICI Paris Île-de-France, this Thursday morning at 7 a.m. The orange alert was lifted this Thursday morning. Firefighters reported 230 storm-related calls in Paris, the Hauts-de-Seine department in Saint-Denis, and the Val-de-Marne, including nearly 130 for falling trees. Only 2 power lines were damaged, and around 50 pumping operations were called. The Île-de-France region was hit by more than 1,500 lightning strikes in just 2 hours on Wednesday evening. Within minutes, torrential rain fell, and winds gusted up to 112 kilometers per hour, 70 miles per hour, against the Eiffel Tower. The Val d'Oise Fire Department reported around 20 storm-related calls, including a few for fallen trees. There were no storm-related calls for emergency services in the Yvelines region. Very impressive thunderclaps first resounded over parts of Hauts-de-Seine, particularly the 15th and 16th arrondissements. On the social network X, many internet users shared images and videos of flooded streets, trees fallen onto the roads, and supermarket signs blown away. In the 8th arrondissement of Paris, the roof of the Grand Palais, where a show was being held this Wednesday evening, was subjected to tropical rain. The venue was partially flooded. The show was interrupted, and spectators were evacuated. 40 centimeters of water seeped in due to a leak in the roof. All along the Seine, water quickly rose on the riverbanks in the capital as well. On the Georges Pompidou Road, many cars had to put on their hazard lights, first due to poor visibility, then due to the flooded road surface. Across the river, the roof of the Annette Quay Barges open-air cafe was blown off by the gusts. In the 15th arrondissement, bars also took on water. The torrential rains that fell across the capital have seeped into many metro stations. Several are closed and unserviced. This is the case for Guy Moquet Station on Line 13 and Franklin D. Roosevelt Station on Lines 9 and 1. At Gare du Nord, a power outage has paralyzed RER-B traffic. And on RER-D, traffic has been interrupted due to weather conditions between Creil and Villeneuve-Saint-Georges in both directions. In the 16th arrondissement, City Councillor David Alphin shares impressive photos of trees falling on cars.